141st contact. Saturday, January 3, 1981, 1:40 am. Billy says you don't hold to my wish, my child. You, nevertheless, know exactly that I have broken off the contacts, and I don't want to continue them anymore. Samjase says I came to visit you because you have a birthday in 1 month from today. Billy says, oh, I see, that's different, and, either way, I am really happy. If I want to be honest, then I must admit that the time of our contact disruption has become devilishly long. But I still think it's better like this and should remain so. But why, then, did you already come today? Don't you have any time on my birthday? Samjase says I thought that a visitor's in advance notification was better, and if you allow it, I would like to talk with you again about the discontinuation of the contacts. Billy says if it's just a discussion, then so be it. I think that I'm so far better off again that I no longer get excited so quickly. Samjase says you look better, much better. Obviously, you could still recover a little bit. Nevertheless, I'm not mistaken in that your health is still very bad. Billy says there, you're quite right, but I will still certainly improve a lot more. Perhaps I can then devote myself to my work again. Samjase says does that mean that you're willing to take up the contacts with us again? Billy says I said nothing about that. Samjase says yet it would be desirable and a great joy for all of us. It would certainly be appropriate if you'd think about it. We ourselves can also continue with our task. Billy says today, I am neither for nor against it in this respect. Samjase says certainly, but your reflection would certainly be of value. Billy says it may be, and, okay, I will do it. Give me some time until the filming and the photographing. Then, we can talk about it again. Samjase says sure, it's a word, and this gives me joy and hope. Billy says your joy and hope are an honor for me, but you shouldn't set your hopes too high. Samjase says I don't do that, but I foresee something because you are healthy again, or at least there is so much of a striving forward to an improvement that your optimism is recognizable again. And just that means a lot with you. Billy says all right, but just like that, you shouldn't speak of me. Samjase says why not? It's just the truth. Billy says you see, you say that. But one may not say such truths on earth. Samjase says I don't understand that. Billy says it's quite simple. Very often, you and also Patay and Quetzal have said things about me, by which I have been put in the devil's kitchen. These truths, as you call them, are valid with many as adulation to portray me as some kind of nice super person and as better than the others. In so-called circles of friends, this has already been claimed very often, as well as in the other circles that want to destroy me and our work. Here on Earth, such things just aren't of value. Samjase says about that, you truly shouldn't trouble yourself because such speeches only reveal the boundless envy and self-knowledge of those who are totally incapable in their own strength to equate with you even approximately. On the other hand, we never spoke to you of your person in a praise-speaking manner, rather, we always only mentioned facts, thus truths, about which we gave you relative statements. However, such statements do not correspond to praise, which is why it is inappropriate and defamatory of third parties when they lay such unjustified accusations on you. We never had the intention, and we never gave such praise to you, to portray you as a super person, etc. All such activity is also far from our way of thinking and our ethics and also from our overall knowledge of the harmfulness of praise speaking. Billy says nevertheless, the human being of the earth thinks so stupidly and illogically. Samjase says the only ones doing such, as I have mentioned to you, are those whose minds do not reach up to logical grasping and understanding. Billy says it also makes no difference, therefore, let's leave it with what we've talked about. I'd prefer it if I could soon go on the trip to do my film work and photo work. Samjase says you must not wait very long, for soon the weather conditions and the land will be such that you can start on your way, even though it still doesn't look like that at present. Billy says that's good, because I've been sitting on pins and needles for a long time. Samjase says, however, this coming work will be very difficult for you again, and in such a way that my foresight comes true. Billy says that is well known to me because I'm not making them for the first time. Also at the other times, I often didn't go to sleep for days. Samjase says sure, but it will be rewarding with regard to good material. But now, my friend, I want to include many dear greetings and wishes and all the love, which I should convey to you from Father, Quetzal, Player, and Manara. Also, all other friends and girlfriends greet you, also ask it and Nera. Billy says that can't be true. Human child, that's a joy. Were you in the Dal universe, then? And, of course, give all of them my heartfelt thanks and let everyone be greeted rather nicely from me. Samjase says I will gladly relay your greetings, also to ask it and Nera, who were with us on Nera. Billy says that is news, human child. Samjase says I have another surprise for you. Billy says aha, and what should it be? Samjase says when you carry out your photo and film work, only then can I give you the surprise. Until then, you still have to be patient. Billy says what should it be, then? Samjase says I have been given the permission to hand over a small amount of metal samples to you again, which you already asked me for a long time ago. Billy says fantastic. Dear, thanks for your efforts. Samjase says, however, it will no longer concern the same materials, but they have an approximate resemblance to the first samples. Billy says that doesn't matter. It is important that I receive new metal samples, which should then be analyzed. Samjase says there will also be new surprises for the analysts once again. Billy says that I can imagine. Samjase says besides the metal pieces, I'll still be allowed to hand over some other things to you, such as a liquid from a planet that is still in its primeval form of development. Billy says what kind of liquid is it? Samjase says you would call it primordial water. Billy says thus, so to speak, a primordial soup. Samjase says that is, indeed, your name for it. Billy says that is fantastic. Does this primordial soup, then, also contain plant germs? Samjase says that would be possible, but I will bring plant germs to you if I can obtain permission for this. Billy says that would really be the culmination of the whole. Samjase says certainly, but you should get for me some small glass containers for these things. Billy says I will. Glass bottles would probably be the right thing. Samjase says sure. Billy says good, I'll get them for you within the next few days. You must fetch them, then, only with me. Samjase says I will gladly do so. Billy says may I ask you some questions since you're already here? Samjase says sure. Billy says good, thank you. Here, these are 2 photos that I have received from Wendelle Stevens. As you can see, it concerns 2 model heads. Can you tell me whether any human life forms are known to you that look like these pictured heads? Samjase says are you of the acceptance that these head replicas have true backgrounds? Billy says you good, I asked you a question, but then you asked me a counter question. Samjase says I have my reasons for this. Billy says well then here, I consider this green head absolute nonsense. During the great journey, I had the opportunity to see your recordings of human life forms, which you kindly demonstrated to me with your viewing devices. But I cannot remember a single human life form that looked like this or substantially similar. Moreover, there were, as you explained at that time, about 30 million different races, which you let me see visually. Samjase says with that, you are quite right. No human life form exists in the universal space within reach of us that bears even a slight resemblance to this imaginary product pictured here. On the other hand, the person has already been known to us for a long time, who claims that she has contact with life forms of the kind photographed here. We became aware of this through a routine analysis of Mr. Stevens' interests as he tried to transfer the book. As a result, we concerned ourselves in detail and thoroughly with the person who wants to have alleged contacts with the life forms of the kind photographed here. Our detailed investigation proved that this person invents deceitful and swindler-like assertions and also disseminates these in this unpleasant manner. This person does this, in part, completely deliberately, but another part is self-suggestive hallucinations. The other unpleasant fact is that this person gathers self-conceived material and wants to distribute it among the Earth people with the false assertion that it comes from contact conversations and transmissions with the human life forms depicted right here in this photograph, which, of course, in no way corresponds to the truth because everything truly only corresponds to a fantasy production of the person concerned. Billy says something similar, I thought to myself. But now, what is with the second picture? And why do you, once again, mention no name? Samjase says that would only aggravate the whole machination in favor of the deceitful person concerned because only too quickly people can be beguiled on the earth by such false assertions and be misled. 1. Billy says good, but now, what about the second picture? Samjase says this model is also built on lies and deception, but this fraudulent picture belongs to a person who lives about 8,500 kilometers away from the one who professes to the green picture fraud. Also this person, through whose initiative this whitish-brown model head has originated, has no contacts to exhibit with any other intelligences than the Earth people. Billy says but why, then, do both these people, as well as many others, do such crazy things? Samjase says we already talked about that many times. Furthermore, which I would still like to add to my former explanations, there is still to be mentioned the entire activity of many such people is based on a delusion of the time. And unfortunately, there are many Earth people who have fallen to this delusion of the time, whereby the crazy religions bear the majority of the blame for the fact that this delusion has appeared. The Earth human being, through the lies of the crazy religions, has been cast into fear and into the uncertain knowledge view that the false teachings of the crazy religions are extremely weak and just wrong, which is why the human being of this world searches for new perspectives of understanding and truth. However, blinded and misguided by the crazy religions and cults, the Earth human being searches for the truth in directions that are still connected to crazy religions. This entails that unstable people turn to those mysterious things which are well known on the one hand but, on the other hand, still represent an unsolvable and incomprehensible phenomenon to the human being, in this case, the ships of extraterrestrial intelligences, which the Earth human being simply calls UFOs. However, for the unstable groups of Earth people, everything represents an unsolvable, incomprehensible, and extraterrestrial phenomenon that must have a supernatural origin, and this supernatural, in this case, is to be equated with a divine origin in a cult-religious and crazy religious sense. Many of the false UFO contacts or other UFO witness, if we still want to use the term UFO for the sake of understanding, act in their own deceitful ways for purely sectarian reasons that are still motivated by fear or by delusional, morbid notions of world improvement, or they act in such a way out of purely personal psychological abuses. So they are, as a rule, morbid or sectarian, starry-eyed idealists with delusional ideas, or they are people who are mentally ill and who never find enough recognition for themselves according to their own judgment, which is why they see themselves as disadvantaged people who are excluded from the joys and honors of life or think that these are too shortly held. Then, through deceitful and swindler-like machinations in the matter of UFOs, They believe that they can get recognition for themselves because they are particularly named in the public or simply in larger circles, by which they can satisfy their hunger for recognition. In addition to these swindlers and fraudsters, however, they are also those who pursue charlatanism for fun, together with those who want to make everything seem ridiculous and impossible through false actions, assertions, and photographs, and not infrequently, political or sectarian backgrounds play a crucial role in this. Then, however, those swindlers and fraudsters are still to be mentioned who invent lies out of pure greed for profit, in order to get rich through swindling and deception in the matter of UFOs. Billy says, to which kind, then, do these two belong, from whom these fraudulent photos, that is these fraudulent model heads, came in accordance with their details? Samjase says they belong to the group of those who seek recognition and who are, at the same time, blinded, starry-eyed idealists. And in the madness of their activities, they are so rich in imagination that they know to perfect their deceitful machinations so that they can work certain things of reality of everyday life into their deceptive machination of untruth. Thus, one of the two deceptive persons even knows how to get names and all kinds of data of people anywhere on the earth through investigations and acquaintances, etc., in order, then, to evaluate these things in the way that the deceitful person who has these data approaches gullible people with the assertion that he has been handed these data or that they were transmitted to him by extraterrestrials or otherworldly life forms, and this, of course, along with more lies and fanciful assertions. Then, if these gullible ones investigate the information and find it confirmed, then they misguidedly believe in these assertions and suppose that the deceitful person really has contacts with extraterrestrial intelligences or otherworldly life forms, etc. Billy says, aha, there I can remember. Wendelle Stevens, indeed, came to me with such a story. There should be an American who wants to have contacts with otherworldly ones or extraterrestrials. Now, one of these life forms is supposed to have given this man information about a Swiss and his family. The Swiss should be named Kobler or something similar and should live somewhere in or around Zurich. The alleged American contactee now claims that this alleged otherworldly being or extraterrestrial life form told him that the Swiss is the brother of a one-nap contactee and that they should, in turn, find themselves in this world, etc. Samjase says, sure, I responded exactly to that with my explanation. Billy says, then this machination is known to you? Samjase says, surely. Billy says, and how did this one-nap contactee receive the information about the Swiss? Samjase says the Swiss is a very busy man and travels a lot and with pleasure. He deals a lot with music and often travels to many countries, including America. Thus, his name became known in certain circles, by which the alleged American contactee learned from a friend the name of the Swiss, including other important family data, etc. Then, with a little investigation and effort, the alleged contactee got to know all interesting facts about the Swiss, after which he then began to spread his fairy tale. Billy says, aha, and Wendelle has fallen for this. I've suspected something like that for a long time. I also haven't held back with my view on this subject. With your information, I am satisfied. I just don't understand why such a fast one can be pulled on Wendelle Stevens. Samjase says many Earth people can be deceived by such wrong interests. But now, we should let the matter rest, for I still have another announcement to make. For about 40 days, there has been another station of extraterrestrial intelligences on Earth, provided by us to resembling human life forms from the planet Haster in the Garant system of the Gename galaxy. This galaxy is located 483 million light-years away from the Earth, and 413 different human races live on the habitable planets there throughout the entire galaxy, which is, relatively seen, very little for an entire galaxy. Just a few years ago, we entered into connection with the highly sophisticated inhabitants of the planet Haster, who have progressed so far in their overall development as it will be for the Earth people in approximately 1,120 years. With ethically and very highly distinct lifestyles, the inhabitants of Hester are very peaceful and loving, and besides this, they live in the same time level as the Sol system, thus in the present level, as this would be said or called by you. Because the Hester inhabitants are now interested in life forms in the remote vastness of the universe which is still inaccessible to them but cannot yet reach these areas with their technology, we have extended our connections with them in such a way that we brought an expeditionary command of the Hester inhabitants here in the Great Spacer. We also helped them build their station, which was created in the depths of the North Sea and from where they will expand their expeditionary work across the whole world. Since their mental, physical, and consciousness-related development has not yet progressed as far as ours, we can only maintain physical contact with them using our vibration-neutralizing devices, as we must also do so with the Earth people when it is necessary now and then. However, this now means that the Hester inhabitants can freely move among the Earth people because their vibrations turn out to be bearable with those of the Earth people, but only briefly. The Hester inhabitants cannot remain in the direct range of the vibrations of the Earth people for more than 17 hours, otherwise, they begin to lose control of themselves. But since they have this 17-hour possibility, they have decided that they will seek contact with one or several people of the Earth for their study purposes and also for the instruction of the Earth people, but certainly with no more than 3 people, who must remain silent about it for their lifetimes, which is why especially upright people are to be selected for these contacts who can be completely trusted. Billy says, but not me, for I really have enough. Samjase says, certainly not, they won't do that. You won't be burdened even more by them. Billy says, then that's good. Samjase says, certainly, but now, I have to go back to the station, and, on February 3rd, I will visit you again if it's possible for me. Now, I only ask you to write down our conversation when I transmit it to you because it should be regarded as another contact report, even if it should be that you won't continue this anymore. Our discussion material contains some interesting facts that may be of interest to all people. Billy says, if I'm able to do that, then I'll do it. Then, I will try to call you. However, it might take several weeks. In addition, I won't tell anyone anything about our contact, and I will also hold back the report for so long until I have finally decided on whether I will resume the contacts or not. Samjase says, that is your decision. I have nothing to object to that because I understand your thought processes very well. Billy says, excellent, then I will do my best to take up your message and write it down before the month of February. But now, I also must go, because otherwise, someone will still come looking for me, and moreover, I still have to finish the snow removal. Bye then, and lots of love to all. Samjase says, until we meet again. Farewell. The end.